Welcome to the December 11th, 2017 Montgomery County Commission meeting. I'm going to ask our Sheriff John Fuson to call our meeting to order. If you would, please remain standing for the pledge led by Commissioner Robert Nichols and our invocation by Commissioner Joe Creek.
All rise. Oh yes, this Honorable Board of County Commissioners is now in session pursuant to adjournment. Now may God save this state and this Honorable Board of County Commissioners.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we thank you for this legislative body and they're willing to serve. We pray for this Christmas season that the individuals that are homeless, that are in need of food, shelter, that somehow it will be provided. We just pray as we go through our legislative meeting tonight that we respect one another, our views, even though some may differ. Let us always remember the true meaning of Christmas. It's indicated in chapter 2 of Luke, starting in verse 2. And it came to pass in those days there went out a decree to Caesar Augustus that all the world would be taxed. And the taxing was first made to Cyrenius, was the governor of Syria. And all went taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph went up from Galilee to the city of Nazareth, and to Judea, and to the city of David, which was called Bethlehem, because he was the house and the lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should deliver. And she brought forth the firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because he was no room for him in the inn. And there was in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over the flock by night. And lo, an angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were so afraid. And an angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings and great joy, for it shall be this day to all people. And to you this born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ our Lord. And this shall be the sign unto you, that you will find a babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was an angel of multitudes in the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill towards men. And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into the heavens, the shepherds said one to another, Let us go even into Bethlehem, and see this thing which has come to pass, which the Lord hath made known unto us. And they came with haste, and found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in a manger. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad and said, which was told according to the child. And all that heard the wonderings of those things which they were told by the shepherds. And Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying, praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen, as it was told to them. Let us never forget the true meaning of Christmas. Just lead and guide and direct us now, for it's in Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Miss Jackson, would you please read the roll?
We have 18 present and 3 absent.
Thank you, ma'am. If I could call on Chief John Clement to come to the podium. Jeff, you need to walk down here with me. How you doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
You go right ahead. Awesome.
Thanks for letting us be a part with you tonight. I want to let you know that what we're about to read, the congressional record, for any of you that don't know, is about these gentlemen, but not so much for them. It's for their grandchildren and people in the future to forever be able to go to the Library of Congress and pull up their names and see some of the stuff that they have done. Everybody from this area to the Pentagon, in the House, everybody knows what you folks have done, your vision, your efforts with Fort Campbell, and we just want you to know that we see it, we appreciate it, we're forever grateful. So I'll read this to you now, Mayor. Mr. Speaker, today we honor Fort Campbell Garrison Command, Montgomery County Mayor Jim Durrett, and Chief of Staff Jeff Truitt for their remarkable partnerships between Workforce Essentials, American Job Center, and service members transitioning to civilian life. These men, working with retired Army Chief Warrant Officer 3 John Clement, retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Harold Riggins, and Teresa English, Director of Career Skills Programs, created and directed the Fort Campbell Soldier Transition Program, an intensive initiative that walks Fort Campbell soldiers hand in hand through one of the toughest processes they experience at the end of their careers. Working with multiple city, county, and state governments and thousands of companies in a one-stop facility, the program coordinators help each of the 400 soldiers transitioning monthly from the Army successfully move into the National Guard, Reserves, higher education, civilian or self-employment worldwide while learning to plan financially and utilize federal and state benefits. The Soldier for Life Exceptional Success earned the 2017 Army Community Partnership Award, the military's annual recognition of projects that improve Army readiness and sustainability through strong community relationships. It is a significant recognition for an impressive achievement. Strong leaders inspire by seeking every opportunity to serve. Garrison Command's Mayor Durrett and Chief of Staff Jeff Truitt's passion and diligence over the program's 2 years ensured the 1% of Americans who sacrifice to serve our nation can thrive in the communities that they love. Well done, gentlemen. Marsha Blackburn, Member of Congress.
Thanks, Chief Clement. At this time, if I could have our EMS Chief, Chief Jimmy Edwards, to come forward. Chief Edwards has some Lifesaver Awards he'd like to present tonight, and I think he wants to tell a little story about this event.
Thank you, Mayor Durrett. Good afternoon. So, November the 3rd at 01:13 hours, the 911 phone rings, and within 10 seconds, the call taker places the first keystroke into the system. And while the emergency services and those assets are beginning to move towards the scene of the request, Maya Brown is calming and giving instructions to those on the other end. See, what has happened is about 1 o'clock in the morning, baby Charlie wakes up, and she is hungry, and she needs to be fed. Upon her request, her parents acknowledge her hunger, and they begin to feed her. But something happens this morning, that is quite unusual. What happens is the child becomes unresponsive, becomes limp, stops breathing, and the heart stops pumping. The next thing that occurs is Maya Brown, the dispatcher, the call taker, is given Charlie's father instructions on how to perform CPR on this 4-week-old daughter. At 1:16, merely 3 minutes after the initial 911 call is placed, Sheriff's Deputy Randy Paddock arrives on the scene and arrives with an AED. Deputy Paddock takes over patient care from the father and provides CPR, applying the AED and delivering 2 defibrillations or counter shocks to baby Charlie. I've worked in EMS for 35 years, hospital and pre-hospital, and I've never been called on the tremendous responsibility that it took and the courage that it took to place an AED defibrillation pad on a 4-week-old and follow the directions of the AED and deliver counter shocks. After the second shock with the AED, Matt and Curtis from the Woodlawn Volunteer Fire Department arrived, and they're assisting in the performing CPR, clearing Charlie's airway, and continuing patient care until EMS arrives. Once EMS arrives on the scene and finds Charlie still unresponsive, her heart's beating now, and it's beating on its own, and she is breathing, but she's breathing less than half the times required to sustain life. So baby Charlie is stabilized and managed by the EMS team as she is transported to the hospital. Baby Charlie spends the next 28 days at Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. So tonight, what I'd like for us to do in acknowledgement of those that worked as a team, from communications and dispatch, call taker, the volunteer fire service, Deputy Paddock, our EMS team that responded to the scene. We want to be able to acknowledge them tonight. Such a tremendous thing. Many things have happened since that transport that night. Many events occurred that involved the family and Vanderbilt University Medical Center Children's Hospital, and we're lucky tonight that Allison, Jason, and baby Charlie happen to be here listening to this presentation. So if you don't mind, I'm going to ask the family to come up. So I'd like them to stand with the mayor as we present these Lifesaver Awards specifically to these individuals. So would you please proceed to the podium as I read your certificate. This is from Montgomery County, Tennessee, Lifesaver Award, Maya Brown. On November the 3rd, 2017, Maya Brown helped save the life of an infant who, without warning, experienced sudden cardiac arrest. Maya answered the 911 call and provided the father with pre-arrival CPR instructions until relieved by responders. Maya was our first link in the chain of survival by providing life-saving instructions during a very stressful situation, which ultimately resulted in saving the infant's life. You okay, Allison? Baby Charlie seems to be content this evening. Next Lifesaver Award goes to Advanced EMT Caleb Hall. On November the 3rd, 2017, Advanced EMT Hall responded to an infant who, without warning, experienced sudden cardiac arrest. AMT Hall worked to assess and stabilize the patient until arrival at the scene and continued assessment and treatment while transporting to the hospital. Thank you, Caleb. Lieutenant Stephen Harris, on the same date, responded to the infant who, without warning, experienced sudden cardiac arrest. Lieutenant Harris worked to assist on stabilization and treatment of the patient at the scene and during transport to the medical facility. Emergency Medical Service responder Matt Leverett. EMR Matt Leverett responded as a volunteer fireman with Woodlawn without warning to this sudden cardiac arrest event, and as stated earlier, he assisted in cardiopulmonary resuscitation, airway management until EMS arrived at the scene. Firefighter Curtis Murray. Again, Firefighter Curtis Murray also responded to the scene and assisted with the deputy in performing cardiopulmonary resuscitation and managing young Charlie's airway. Paramedic Benjamin Rush, again responding to the scene after basic life support had been initiated, arriving at the scene, stabilizing, transporting, and treating baby Charlie as they approached the medical facility. Deputy Randy Paddock, as he is approaching the lectern, I'll tell you, as I confessed while I was giving the opening remarks about the incident itself, a tremendous amount of courage and a display of following the instructions of the AED. I'm compelled to tell you that that night or that morning, that it was the actions of Randy Paddock that played such a significant role in baby Charlie's ability to have a functioning brain and be able to come home to her mom and dad and have a Merry Christmas. Just want to say real quick, I want to thank baby Charlie's family for having the courage to be here this evening. Thank you.
Wow. If I could have Mr. Jerry Buchanan to come forward. Well, Jerry, you've never sat over there. Jerry, I don't know if you want to have your family come down here with you or not, but you're welcome to invite them down here. I know half the audience will be down here, but that's okay. Jerry, first of all, let me say on behalf of Montgomery County, congratulations on your retirement. We have a proclamation that I'd like to read to you, which is a very, very small token of not only, I think, my appreciation, but our commissioner's appreciation, but also all the residents of Montgomery County for your many years of service, over a 20-year career with Montgomery County Emergency Management Agency. So if I can read this proclamation to you. Whereas Jerry Buchanan began his 20-year career with Montgomery County Emergency Management Agency in 1997. Shortly thereafter, he was promoted to Deputy Director, and in 2012, he was appointed as Interim Director. In March of 2013, Jerry was appointed to Director of EMA and holds that position today. And whereas, along with serving Montgomery County as Director of EMA, Jerry Buchanan has served his community as a volunteer with the Woodlawn Volunteer Fire Service since 1988 and served as their chief from 1991 to 2012. And whereas Jerry Buchanan is certified in how you say that word, Jerry? Extrication, thank you. Is a certified level 1 emergency manager, a certified medical first responder, a certified hazardous material instructor in basic concepts, concept implementation, incident command system, basic, intermediate, and advanced radiological monitoring, and emergency response to terrorism through FEMA and TEMA. Jerry received the Governor's Certificate of Appreciation on September 11, 2017 for his contributions to Homeland Security District 7. And whereas Jerry Buchanan has been a dedicated employee committed to public service and has served a vital role in his community, Montgomery County government is fortunate to have had him as one of its most outstanding and vital employees for the past 20 years. And he will certainly be missed by his friends and his coworkers. And whereas we hope Jerry will enjoy his well-deserved retirement years with his children, Jerry and Teresa, his 4 grandchildren, Levi, Zachary, Jerry Lee, and Chance, and his 4 great-grandchildren, Aiden, Haley, Grayley, and Presley. Now, therefore, I, Jim Durrett, on behalf of the citizens of Montgomery County, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim this 11th day of December 2017 as a day to acknowledge and show appreciation to Jerry Buchanan for the dedicated service he has given to Montgomery County government and to the citizens of this county. We hope that your retirement years are filled with good health and happiness. Jerry, God bless you, and thank you for all you've done for Montgomery County. Love you, man. Thank you, Michelle. You want to say anything? Well, I can. Okay.
I know I said a few words in the inside a while ago, but it is an honor and a pleasure to work for Montgomery County. Some of the greatest people I ever worked with, and that's something I'll never forget. So I want to let you know that anything I can do for any of you at any time, just give me a call. I'm available. Thank you all. Appreciate every one of you.
If I could have Dr. David Ripple and his lovely wife to come forward, please. Dr. Ripple, obviously you don't have quite the years of service that Mr. Buchanan has, but you have been an absolute joy for me to work with over the last 3 years of me being county mayor. You bring a level of professionalism to the Planning Commission that is probably unmatchable. I appreciate your candor, I appreciate your honesty, and you will certainly be missed. And as a very small token of our appreciation, I also have a proclamation for you. So if you'll bear with me, I'll read it. Whereas Dr. David Ripple began his employment as director of the Clarksville-Montgomery County Regional Planning Commission on May 14th, 2012. And whereas prior to employment with Montgomery County, Dr. Ripple lived in Newburgh, Indiana, and his past employment included preparing metropolitan transportation plans and travel models, transportation corridor studies, comprehensive plans and land use controls, transit studies, bicycle pedestrian plans, site development plans, and traffic impact and access studies. I didn't read anything here about chickens.
Not tonight.
Oh, okay. And whereas Dr. Ripple's extensive education, experience, and knowledge of development activities, effective project management, experienced communication, seasoned management skills, the ability to link diverse technical disciplines and specialized technical skills have been invaluable in guiding and accomplishing a coordinated, efficient economic development plan for this region. And whereas Dr. Ripple has been a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners since 1978, further, he is a registered professional engineer in 4 Midwest states and holds a Master of Science and Doctor of Philosophy in Civil Engineering. And whereas Dr. David Ripple has been dedicated to public service and has served a vital role in this community for the past 4 years, His work ethics, educational background, and work experience have truly been an asset in his role with the Regional Planning Commission. And whereas Dr. David Ripple will certainly be missed by his friends and coworkers. And now, therefore, I, Jim Durrett, on behalf of the citizens of Montgomery County, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim this 11th day of December 2017 as a day to acknowledge and show appreciation to Dr. David Ripple for his dedicated service to the Clarksville-Montgomery County Regional Planning Commission and the citizens of this community. We hope that his retirement years are filled with good health and happiness. Dr. Ripple, thank you so much for your service, and God bless you and your wife in your retirement. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you.
Again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve the community, and I will miss you all and enjoyed working with you all.
Give my voice a minute. I ain't read that much in a year. Commissioners, our first item of business is the approval of the November 13th, 2017 minutes. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Butts, is there a second? Commissioner Jason Hodges, any discussion on the November 13th, 2017 minutes? If you would, please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, would you please tally the vote?
You have 18 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Thank you, ma'am. We have two zoning resolutions before us tonight. The first one is CZ 17-2017, application of Matt Rudolph Jr. Trust from R1 to C5. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Keene, is there a second? Commissioner Nichols, any discussion on CZ 17-2017? If you would, please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, would you please tally the vote?
You have 18 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Thank you, ma'am. Zoning Resolution CZ 18-2017, application of Jack Dallin from AG to M1. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Gannon, is there a second? Commissioner Keene, any discussion on CZ 18-2017? If you would, please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, would you please tally the vote?
You have 18 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Thank you, ma'am. Resolution 17-12-1, the resolution to appropriate funding for Montgomery County's portion of a grant match to secure additional grant revenue on an existing grant for the Clarksville-Montgomery County Regional Airport. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Jason Hodges, second. Commissioner Genus, any discussion on 17-12-1? If you would, please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, would you please tally the vote?
You have 18 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Resolution 17-12-2, resolution to appropriate funding for the purchase and installation of LED lighting for Solar Way. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Albert, second Commissioner Riccone. Any discussion on 17-12-2? Commissioner Redd.
Thank you, Mayor. I've just got a quick question or two. I think in the informal meeting, it was said that it would cost $25,000 to put the same type of batteries back in that was before, but these newer batteries that for $60,000 will last 8 years. I was wondering, how long did the older batteries last?
3 to 5.
3 to 5. And was there an estimate on just doing away with the solar type and just going with the normal type?
No, because there's no wires run underground to those poles themselves. They're just sitting on a concrete pillar. So to run wires to those would be much more than either one of these two options.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on 17-12-2? We have a motion and a second. If you would, please register your vote. Does anyone want to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, would you please tally the vote?
You have 18 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
17-12-3, a resolution approving a payment in lieu of tax program for the Clarksville Housing Authority. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Tooley, second Commissioner Albert. Any discussion? Commissioner Tooley.
I just want to make an appeal to our commissioners that we know this area, there is a need, and when you choose to vote for this tonight, remember that all communities need some kind of facelift, and I think this is a perfect example of what we need in this area. Please vote with your heart and go ahead and vote for this, and I will be totally grateful to you if you did that. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Tooley. Commissioner Redd.
Thank you, Mayor. I really don't think I see too much difference between this and the vote we had a few years ago concerning Concord Village Apartments, and maybe there is a big difference somewhere that I'm overlooking. This payment in lieu of taxes, or this pilot, is for 15 years, and it was said that it would be at $45,000 a year, which would, for the 15 years would be $675,000 that would go to this LLC or this private company that is taken over. I know that the Seventh-day Adventist Church had it before, and they were a nonprofit, but still, I'm looking at this as this is a for-profit company that has bought this, LSA Grier South Central Village of Clarksville, LLC, it is called, and the resolution itself just says to do maintenance there. So, and I'm all for them to do maintenance on the building and that sort of thing. I just don't see where this company should get $675,000 when other businesses of the same way has to pay regular taxes, including the business tax, which is higher than residential here in Clarksville. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments? I'm going to ask Mr. Harvey, there are a couple of changes. We've been working on this really since our last informal meeting. And so there are a couple of just minor changes to the, is that the pilot agreement, Tim?
Yes.
To the pilot agreement. I'd like Mr. Harvey to go over those. And if I think Commissioner Tooley made the motion, and if you would kindly amend your motion to what Mr. Harvey goes over. And we did indicate last Monday night there may be some minor changes, and we'd present those to you. So I'm going to ask Mr. Harvey to briefly verbalize those changes.
I caught that. If you're looking at what's in your packet, the Clarksville Housing Authority attorney asked for some changes in Section 1 on conditions precedent to make sure that the title would be conveyed as good and marketable title, and that a title insurance commitment would come from a title group that was recognized and acceptable to the Clarksville Housing Authority. And under Section 4, one of the defaulting agreements was added, which I consider a benefit to us, and that was that the lessees continued, that if the lessee is given a right to a cure if they default on a pilot payment. They get 10 days if they miss a payment upon notice to cure. Section 6 was added that says a lessee's continued default and failure to cure pursuant to the lease or termination of the pilot agreement and the lease by the lessor pursuant to the terms of this lease. That was added so that if they do not immediately cure within 10 days as required, the pilot's terminated and it reverts back to a taxable entity so we can collect our tax. That's a change in the pilot agreement. There will also be a cooperation agreement and a lease that we will not sign that's between the Clarksville Housing Authority and that group. And the cooperation agreement has no additional obligations or benefits on the part of the county. We don't give up anything. We don't get anything extra. It's consistent with this pilot agreement. The importance of the pilot agreement is it gives you the numbers on the payment amount in lieu of tax.
Mr. Harvey, could we have your highlighted copy to give to Ms. Jackson? So I know you're probably struggling with what this amendment's going to be.
Yes, there it is.
I think it's on the second page and about the fourth page, Ms. Jackson.
And candidly, this got finished up about 4 o'clock today, so.
Commissioner Hodges.
Right now of that business? I mean, what are they paying right now in property taxes?
About $6. What? How much?
This past year was $6,000.
And how much will they pay after this?
The county, $45,000.
So it's a quite a bit of an increase in revenue we'll be collecting.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And for anybody that's never seen that building, it's in horrible condition. So to see it upgraded, it's going to be a benefit to the whole community, and we're still going to be getting additional dollars to our coffers. Thank you.
Commissioner Harper.
Thank you, Mayor. If I could have Keith Lampkin come up, because I'd asked a question last week about what those taxes were. Keith sent me an email. I wanted to make sure all the commissioners had that information. If he wouldn't mind, just basically you could read the email he sent to me.
Yes, sir.
I think, let me pull up. Actually, my question to you was that the taxes that were paid.
Yeah, the taxes, I think it was evaluated at about $48,000. I don't know the exact amount, but it was around $48,000 is what they would pay in taxes right now without the pilot. And with the pilot, it would be around $45,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. Also, I wanted to address a comment that Commissioner Redd made, which was comparing this project to the Concord Gardens project. In my opinion, after looking at both of these projects, I consider them vastly different for a number of reasons. We don't have enough time to go into all the reasons that they're different, but I would be in support of this pilot, so I would ask the commissioners to vote that way as well, in addition to Ms. Tooley. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jackson, are you good?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Tooley, would you accept what our attorney read as an amendment to your motion?
Yes, sir. I'd like to amend that motion to what our attorney has presented to us.
And it was seconded by Commissioner Albert, and you're okay with that? So we're actually voting on 1712-3 as amended. Commissioner Gannon.
Quick question, if I make sure I'm hearing it right. Basically, we're talking about a $3,000 a year abatement going from 48 to 45. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we're now voting on 1712-3 as amended. If you would, please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, would you please tally the vote?
You have 17 yeses, 1 no, and 0 abstentions.
Thank you, ma'am. 1712-4, a resolution to amend animal care and control regulations regarding rabies vaccination registration fee and collection. Is there a motion for approval? Commissioner Johnson, second. Commissioner Riccone, any discussion? Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to take a second to maybe clarify for the commissioners some of the information that you received last week from our guest speaker may have been in error. If you will grant me license to exaggerate just a little bit here, I will tell you that the Animal Control Committee has gone over this so much that we could probably recite it on demand. Just to clear up a couple of things. The procedure for attaching a mechanism for revenue for animal care and control to the rabies vaccination fee was set by the state. This is not something that Montgomery County just came up with. This is something that is in the state statute, and we are just simply following the guideline that was there for us. The three-year rabies vaccination, there will not be a $15 increase on that. No matter if it's a 1 year or a 3 year, it is still just $5. This is a $4 increase. It's been $1 since the 90s. That's all this is. In the month of March, the fee is the traditional $1 that it has been since the 90s, as that is Rabies Awareness Month as far as I can tell. So I really don't see how there could be, in my own humble opinion, I don't think there could be a better compromise in order to make this palatable for veterinarians, the public, animal control, and this body. We did address the idea of rogue factions coming in to do rabies vaccinations at other areas or other venues, such as showing up at Tractor Supply. Any animal vaccinated in Montgomery County would have to use the tag that we provide. If they do not have the tag that we provide, that animal is not considered vaccinated. These are tags that we are receiving from the state. It is not costing the county any money, and these tags would be counted, controlled, and passed out by Montgomery County. So unless County Attorney Harvey has anything to add, did I leave anything out?
No.
All right.
I think you're there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Any other discussion on 17-12-4? Commissioner Redd.
Thank you, Mayor. I know that we will have the tags to give it, but my question is what's going to happen if the vets just decide to stop providing vaccinations? I mean, do we have any recourse there? I mean, we can't really force
if we pick up an animal that's not vaccinated, then we're going to bring that animal to animal care and control, and unless the process or they go through the necessary shots, I think we have the legal right to euthanize that animal. I hope it doesn't come to that. Okay. We pick up strays all the time.
You know, I mean,
well, I meant the vets. What if they decide not to perform the service anymore?
State law requires a dog owner to vaccinate his or her dog once a year. And the vaccination by state law occurs from a licensed veterinarian. And the only thing our overlay adds is the information passes through Montgomery County to verify that a vaccination occurred. Now, if you're talking about the fact that someone may own a dog and never take it to a vet and never get it vaccinated, it's like any other enforcement issue. If we ever become aware of that dog, there'll be no proof of vaccination. We pick up that dog.
Well, I mean, they might go somewhere else. I'm just saying, what if they decide that because it seems to me that most of them are really not for this.
Most of who?
Most of them are against this. So.
Most of who?
The veterinarians.
Well, the veterinarian.
I mean, they can always go somewhere else, perhaps, but.
Well, if a veterinarian could choose not to engage in the business of giving that yearly inoculation, but to be frank, every time Jack and I show up at the vet, the first thing they say is, "Have you had your vaccination this year?" Because it's another required shot and another $15 or $18 charge. So I don't know if we can't make vets.
So they're required to do a vaccination.
People who own dogs are required to have them vaccinated annually, and licensed veterinarians are generally in the business of performing vet services for profit, so I suspect they'll continue to do that.
Okay. Well, the veterinarians will be hurt by this, and I don't like a profession being singled out to collect taxes from their customers and then to have it turned in. But thank you.
Commissioner Harper.
Thank you, Mayor. In response to Commissioner Redd's comment about an industry being hurt, I totally disagree. This has been going on for quite some time. All that's changed is the remuneration. The policy has been in place for quite some time. And frankly, as far as a number of veterinarians being against it, the ones I've spoken to are actually for this. So take that as you will.
Thank you, Commissioner Harper. Anyone else to speak regarding 1712-4? If you would, please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, would you please tally the vote?
You have 15 yeses, 3 noes, and 0 abstentions.
Thank you, ma'am. Any unfinished business? None that I have. Under our reports, Ms. Jackson, would you please read your report?
Comes Kelly A. Jackson, County Clerk, Montgomery County, Tennessee, presents the County Clerk's report for the month of November 2017. I hereby request that the persons named on the list of new applicants to the office of Notary Public be elected. The oath of the Judicial Commissioner is approved as taken. This report shall be spread upon the minutes of the Board of County Commissioners. You received your list last week of your notary applications. You do not have any that are signed by personal surety, and you do not have any names that need to be read into the minutes for bond purposes.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a motion for approval of the clerk's report? Commissioner Gannon, second. Commissioner Tooley, any discussion? If you would, please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, would you please tally the vote?
You have 18 yeses, 0 noes, 0 abstentions.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioners, you'll see the reports that have been filed, 5, 6, 7, and 8, have been added since our informal sessions. Commissioner Nichols, nominating committee nominations.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioners, the nominating committee have the following nominations for the audit committee. There are 5 commissioners. Commissioner Arnold Hodge is nominated to serve another 2-year term to expire December 2019. Commissioner Brandon Butts nominated to serve another 2-year term to expire December 2019. Commissioner David Harper nominated to serve another 2-year term to expire December 2019. Commissioner Monroe Gildersleeve nominated to serve another 2-year term to expire December 2019. Commissioner Audrey Tooley nominated to replace Commissioner Larry Rocconi for a 2-year term to expire December 2019, and this is in a form of a motion.
Is there a second? Commissioner Gannon, any discussion on the nominating committee nominations? Without objection, I'd like to add the county mayor nominations to that group as well. We only have one, the Public Building Authority, a 6-year term. Commissioner John Gannon has been filling an unexpired term and is now eligible to serve his first full 6-year term to expire January 2023. Without objection, we'll add that to the nominating committee nominations. Is there any objection to adding that? We're now voting on the nominating committee and the county mayor nominations. If you would, please register your vote. Would anyone like to change their vote? Ms. Jackson, would you please tally the vote?
You have 15 yeses, 0 noes, and 3 abstentions.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioners, a few announcements that we have. Again, due to the holiday, the January informal commission meeting will be on Tuesday, January the 2nd at 6 o'clock p.m. That's January the 2nd, informal, at 6 o'clock p.m. Hopefully you received an email today, invitation to tour the train plant on Wednesday, December 13th, beginning at 10 a.m. If you would, please RSVP no later than tomorrow to Randy Malden at 615-565-9474, along with your shoe size. In the plant, there should be no ties, dresses, or high-heel shoes, and lunch will be served. Lastly, just Commissioner Baggett's not here with us tonight. He has the flu, and he also lost his father a few days ago, so I ask that Commissioner Baggett be in your thoughts and prayers. Commissioner Sokol, who is not with us tonight, is recovering from surgery. I also ask that he be in your thoughts and prayers. Commissioner Nichols having a procedure tomorrow. Please have Commissioner Nichols in your thoughts and prayers. Commissioners, your Christmas gifts were at your desk. And with no further business, I'd like to wish each of you and your family a Merry Christmas, and a Merry Christmas to all of our county employees, our department heads, elected officials, and to all of Montgomery County. With that being said, Sheriff, do you mind adjourning us?
All rise. Oh yes, this Honorable Board of County Commissioners now stands adjourned. Now may God save this state and this Honorable Board of County Commissioners. Merry Christmas to you as well.